And welcome everybody, and welcome back to Hot School. I hope you guys all had a good recess. Next character is going to be Azmodan. Man, he is one of my favorite characters in the game, and he rounds out our the A's of our Hot School tutorials here. And while we're talking about A's, look at this thing. Anyways, that being said, we're going to get right into it.
So it begins.
Now I just kind of hang out a little bit until we get into till the character select screen. Then I'll start saying some different things, and we'll go. Man, I love Azmo though. He's one of my favorite characters. Look at them nips. I want to say Azmo is one of the most progressive characters in the game. He's got, he's the only one with nipple piercings. Just one thought I'd point that out. That's a lot of damage on their team. All right. And another clap so we can find where we are. And here we have, on the friendly team, we have Azmodan, Orphea, Falstead, Genji, and Gazlo versus Kel'Thuzad, Kerrigan, Tychus, Raynor, and Orphea. One thing I didn't mention a second ago, but I would like to say that Azmodan is one of the most progressive characters in this game, as I believe he is the only character with nipple piercings, and so that's something that he's got going for him. And as he was a general in Diablo, right? I just remember he was at the end of Act 3 of Diablo 3. But Azmodan is one of those characters that the longer the game goes on, the stronger he gets to a certain point. He recently, and by recently I mean within I think the last 6 months or so, received a kind of a rework. And it changed a little bit about the way that he plays, but fundamentally it's the same as it's always been. And you focus on getting stacks for your Q ability, which is it's this huge orb. But Azmodan has one of the most satisfying things in the game, and that is his orb ability, which is where a lot of his damage is going to be coming from. When you use that and you tag an enemy who is running and they die, it is I swear it's like crack in this game. You get addicted to killing people with it, and as you start seeing that you're able to drive pressure through pretty much all the lanes, plus do that kind of damage and do that kind of kill finishes, makes it for a super fun hero to play. Hey, we get a boost. Thank you, Genji, for having a boost, giving us 5% more XP. So as I said, you have a really large range here for your Q ability, which is called Globe of Annihilation. It launches a big orb. The enemy, it's telegraphed pretty well, so the enemy has a lot of time to see it before it hits the ground. So if you're shooting for your max range, you're going to have a difficult time hitting targets, but the closer you are, they don't really have too much of a chance. Our W ability is going to be summoning a demon warrior. Is just going to kind of walk off in a line. Once he reaches the end of that line, he's just going to go to whatever the lane he is closest to. At level 1, I'm going to take Greed. A lot of people take Gluttony, and I'll kind of explain the differences as to why I take Greed as we go, but the main difference is because of the damage that you do to non-heroic targets. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So the best thing about Azmo is you want to be hitting heroes if possible and getting last hits on minions. Hey, got that kill. And that's going to give you stacks into your Q, which is going to give you more damage. So we're going to do that there. And so with greed, once we get to 200 stacks on our globe, our range is increased by 33%, and the amount of damage we do to non-heroic targets is increased as well. Our D ability, which I'm going to use here, which is our trait, actually spawns a character from was it Demon Lieutenant from any other NPC that you have out on the map currently. And he will help push the lane. He does damage, and he casts Demonic Strike every 7 seconds, instantly killing an enemy minion. And he does a little bit of damage as well. We're gonna come in here. Tychus can do a lot of damage to us, but we're gonna go ahead and do this and then this, and we're gonna take him out.
Your destruction.
So the big thing with Azmodan is you want to be focusing on getting these last hits on minions like that, and getting hits with your Q ability on heroes as well. Level 4, we're gonna take Army of Hell. When I first saw this talent, I did not like it. What it does is it makes it so that your W ability summons 2 demon warriors instead of 1, but increases the cooldown on it by 100%. So I was thinking, well, that's literally the same amount of time. There's no reason you want that. However, having 2 out instead of 1, you can occupy 2 towers with damage. It also helps with clearing, because your demon warriors, not only do they target enemies, they also deal damage around them. They have kind of a damage aura. We're gonna go ahead and use our trait in the top lane again, and this is where Azmo can get a lot of use out of Azmo in pushing lanes that you're not necessarily in. You want to always have that trait up in another lane. We're gonna try to steal this while if that Rainer wasn't there, that'd have been a thing. Nice. I know I haven't talked about our E ability. I will here momentarily. It's called All Shall Burn, and it's basically Azmo's laser ability. And what that does for him is that puts out a short laser that does damage, and at the end of the cast, it does. Oh God, we might. Oh. At the end of the time, was it 2.5 seconds? It does a bigger boom at the end. All Shall Burn is one of the skills that got tweaked a little bit when he received his rework not that long ago. You used to be able to just put the All Shall Burn on a target, and it would just be indefinite. You just sit there with this laser out. It made Azmo kind of annoying to go against in some cases. But they changed it so that it does the more damage. I personally much more like it this way because I didn't really use the laser. There was a laser build that was built all around it, and you could literally kite other heroes and you just use this laser as damage, and it just felt cheesy. All right, level 7, we're gonna go ahead and take Globe grants additional annihilation. We're taking this because if we hit 2 or more targets, we gain more annihilation stacks, so we gain more annihilation stacks there. Plus, it refunds some mana from our cast. And since we're always trying to use up as whatever abilities we can, having that mana regen is pretty vital to our ability to do well here. Gonna go ahead and launch both of those down, not because we think that they're gonna push anything, but just because they are gonna do a little bit more damage to that Kerrigan. It's nothing big, but all the damage helps. Once again, so we're gonna go ahead and throw our trait down into that bottom lane. The thing with using the trait is you want to focus on hitting the lanes that you're not necessarily at for the most part, so that it gets pushes. And you can get a little bit of XP from it, but also what you're really doing is you're putting a lot of pressure, lane pressure on the enemy team. Oh, that's not good. Oh, this is bad news. Okay, we're okay there. So here's another little trick that you can do with Azmo. If you use your summon demon warriors next to a wall, you can actually summon them over the wall. And where that's helpful in a lot of cases is it gives you vision without having to put yourself in a dangerous spot getting over the wall, or in some cases we can interrupt the enemy from grabbing an objective. At level 10 we're going to take Tide of Sin. And what this does is this empowers our next Q ability, allowing it to do more damage and costs no mana. So it does 50% more damage and then costs no mana. However, it's kind of misleading because the Tide of Sin itself costs mana, so yeah, so it actually makes it cost more mana, but it does that much more damage. And what that's going to help us do, especially here, kind of still early game, is going to secure more stacks and potentially more kills, and just get more damage out on the enemy team. So once again, we're going to go ahead and throw our trait into that top lane. Go ahead and keep that lane pushing as much as we can. So one of the strategies with Azmo is to focus on hitting the back of the minion wave while the front is taking damage from the minion wave that you have, and then you can go ahead and use your globe to kind of clean them all up so you can get as many stacks as possible. And just throw those guys down there. That's gonna just kind of not necessarily do much damage or anything, but just kind of lets them know that we're there. Since she's gonna be doing that damage, we're gonna go ahead and throw that down. Help us grab that whole wave. However, let me see. I think our Orphea probably went the... Okay, our Orphea did not go chomp, so we're not actively battling against our Orphea. So there are other characters that benefit from getting like last hits on minions and whatnot, and they don't necessarily play nicely with Azmo because they're going to be trying to get the last hits as well. And next thing you know, we're trying and battle who gets the last hits. So we're going to damage that back minion there so that he was low enough so that when we used our globe ability, we go ahead and kill him. So we're going to go ahead and use our laser here, so it channels for a little bit of time and then does some damage at the end. We're at level 13. We're going to take Demons Have More Health and Warriors Slow. So that means that as we put down our demon warriors, they are going to have more health, be able to survive more tower shots and whatnot, and then also slow targets that they hit. We're going to go ahead and use our ability there, our ult ability, and we're going to go ahead and push this. This will not be difficult for us. We're going to go ahead and throw our lieutenant down here as well, just to give us more lane push on this. We're going to use our globe here, try to pick up all of those stacks. We're at 164 stacks. It's okay. Once we get to 200, we're going to be doing a lot better. With Azmo, if you, I like to put a little bit of a timer on skills. Like if you've reached stacked quests by this time, you're doing really well. For Azmo, if you by about 8 minutes or so, if you have you're fully stacked for your quest, you're doing very well. We're gonna try to get out of here. I'm gonna go ahead and put that laser on that Orphea. Just gonna secure that kill. You're gonna die. We're gonna throw down some damage here. We're gonna miss. It's okay. Her choices were to go in and get wrecked by the team, or go out and get wrecked by the orb. So she didn't really have very many options there. We're gonna go ahead and throw that there. And that's what I'm talking about as far as the most satisfying thing in this game. We're gonna go ahead and do damage. Globe. And finish him off. And we're probably dead here. Yeah, there was not much we could do. Orphea with Azmodan has the largest hitbox in the game, so he's not difficult to hit. Level 16, we're going to take increased globe damage to heroes. Is going to do an additional 4% of a hero's maximum health when we hit them with a globe. Which is just going to, once again, increase that globe damage. When you're fighting against, like, let's say, like, Chromie, Mage, Vala, or any other, like, lower target hero, and you hit them with your Tide of Sin plus your Globe of Annihilation, and you've taken these globe talents, you hit like a damn truck. You do over, like, half of their health in one hit. Plus, it's just a huge radius that you're doing that damage on as well. Ooh, Genji's should be able to get him some kills here. Yeah. Alright, he's got to be careful if he doesn't get chained. Oh, he got chained, and he's dead. Go ahead and put that Fear of God into Orphea there. We got some action going on here. Throw that globe down, get that kill. We're going to go ahead and get on this Kerrigan. Go ahead and damage her up. Helping us secure that kill as well. We're going to help get rid of these. And that's done. Oh. Or seriously, just basic attack, please. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and grab this seed here. See, let's take a look at the map, see which lane we want to push out. We're going to push out the top lane. That Tychus is gone. We're going to go ahead and damage him. Falstead might be able to secure that kill. We're going to throw down these warriors. We're going to use our laser on this Raynor ult, since he's not microing it very well. Go ahead and kill that. Throw a globe right there. Get a kill on that Raynor as he tries to escape. Cool, B-Dot. I'm glad you like him, dude. Yeah, I try my best. So we go ahead and throw down our W ability once again, just keeping lane pressure, but it's going to also take that tower damage, which allows us to take down towers because it keeps the enemy team distracted. We're going to throw this orb over here just for, I guess, the hell of it, because there was nothing there. Throw down another, get our minions down. We're going to go ahead and do more damage to this Kerrigan. She's going to take some serious damage, and she's dead. We're probably going to die here. Ooh. We got a fortuitous boop there. Now we're going to throw this on that Orphea. Go ahead and secure that kill. Going to throw down more of these minions here. We're going to go ahead and put our trait into the bottom lane to help push out that lane as much as we can. And we're going to go ahead and throw our Q down, getting a stack off Raynor and clearing out half of that minion wave at level 20. This is going to be a... I'm going to take Pride, which once we get to maximum stacks with Azmo, which is going to be 400 stacks, we will do even more damage with our globe. I know, like I said, you build into Azmo's globe and you stack up and he hits like a damn truck. So we're going to wait here for just a second because we're waiting for our Tide of Sin cooldown to end. And then we're going to throw it on this minion wave. Getting that entire minion wave, plus a little chunk on Raynor, helping us get those stacks. So Azmo's interesting because you are... I always look at Azmo like you're playing a little mini game. You're focused on getting stacks like as much as you can. And that's the big trade-off for Azmo is you got to know when to focus on getting stacks and when to help your team in team fights. And you will find a lot of cases you tend to be more focused on one than the other. We're going to go ahead and throw this globe here. Going to do a chunk of damage out there. Oh, we should be able to kill this Kerrigan. We had to back up a little bit because that Orphea ult.
I could get used to this.
And doing damage on their back line. We're going to go ahead and put our laser on Orphea. It's just going to scare her away. We're going to toss down our minions here. Whether she... Oh, God. That's okay. We just won the game. But that is Azmo. Sadly, I didn't get to show you as many things as I wanted to because that match went so well for us. But Asmo is by far my favorite character to play in this game right now. He just has always been a really fun character to play. So even though we were focusing a lot on getting stacks and everything, if we go ahead and take a look at like the damage that we've been doing and everything else, you know, we have a solid lineup here. We had 11 kills, 2 deaths, solid siege, solid hero damage, and we led an XP. That's the big thing about Azmo is his XP generation, because you can put your trade into other lanes and then you can use your globe ability to take out whole waves, can really help to give your team XP advantage throughout the entire game. Plus, as the game gets going longer, so had we hit our full stacks or even just a little bit longer in that game, let's say we started to lose that matchup, Azmo has the ability to stall out a game like no other. What he is able to do is just keep those minion waves keep lane pressure off of your team, which really makes him strong in that. So let's kind of go over our talents again. So at level 1, we went with Greed. Now here's the reason, and actually I'll talk about that here in one more second, because I want to go ahead and pull up the tooltip for the other. So we're going to skip over that for now. But level 4, we took Army of Hell, which summoned an additional Demon Warrior when we used our W ability. The cooldown was increased by 10 seconds, thus doubling the cooldown. But because there was 2 of them out there, that's twice the damage at that point in time, plus that's twice the tower absorption. Another cool thing that you can do with Army of Hell, if you're playing against a character that uses skill shots, like let's say Li Ming, and she is chasing you down, you're low on health, you can pop your Army of Hell or your Demon Warrior behind you, and if you have 2, it's even better, because it's going to cause a bigger kind of like shield that might absorb that orb that might have killed you, or her magic missiles, or whatever it is. It can actually makes like a little bit of a shield to kind of protect you in that regard. Level 7, our Art of Chaos talent, that was so that if we hit 2 or more heroes with the same globe, we restored 3 mana, plus we gained 30 mana, and we gained an additional 4 annihilation. So that's a big one to help us keep our uptime, so we don't have to hearth. I don't think I hearthed that entire match. I did not hearth. We did die a couple times, but that was only because we were pressed in on their core. But I didn't hearth that entire game, and we never had any mana issues. Level 10. We took Tide of Sin so that our Globe of Annihilation costs no mana, and did an additional 50% damage. Now the other option drops a ton of NPCs, which is really good for sieging on like forts and stuff, kind of by yourself. But I personally like Tide of Sin more, because when I play as Azmo, I like to contribute more hero damage in team fights, and I like that getting that satisfying kill as enemies are running is so much easier when you're doing 50% more damage. So it helps really secure those kills a lot better. So at 13, we took Brutish Vanguard, which allowed our Demon Warriors and Lieutenants to gain 25% increased health, and our Demon Warriors would slow nearby enemies by 20%, which, as you saw a couple of times there, we used those like when that Kerrigan was kind of overextended on us, and we threw down those Demon Warriors. As she was trying to run away, she was slowed, which made it easier for us to then hit her with a globe to secure that kill. Level 16, we took Total Annihilation, and that's just once again just straight damage increase to our orb against enemy heroes. And at level 20, we literally got no value out of it in this match, but had the match lasted longer, Pride is a huge increase to Globe. So once you hit that 400 Annihilation mark, which is the max now, which is the cap that you can hit, it increases the area of effect of that globe by 15%, making it a massive AoE to kind of try to avoid for the enemy team. It makes it easier for you to hit with it as well, and it deals an additional 125 damage. So if you're using Tide of Sin, that's an additional 67 or so damage on top of that. So yeah, it's a little chunk more of damage, but the main thing is you get that huge area of effect bonus too. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about these talents that we didn't take. So at level 1, Gluttony is one of the ones that a lot of people take. And the reason for this is it increases the number of stacks from 2 to 3 when you hit a enemy hero with your globe. And then once you've hit 200 Annihilation, it reduces the cooldown by a quarter of a second for each enemy hit. So if you hit a whole minion wave, there's seven minions in that wave. That is 1.75 seconds of reduced cooldown, and that's doubled if you hit heroes with it. So you can get more orbs out. The reason I choose Greed is because after we get to a later stage, I like to be able to control more lane pressure. So having that range increase by 33% allows me to be in like the middle lane, but still push out the top and bottom lanes without having to move too much with globes, because minions aren't going to avoid the damage. Plus, that 20% more damage makes it so that we don't have to use our Tide of Sin to do to power up our orb to do that extra damage to minions to get those stacks. So it allows us to use that Tide of Sin more on enemy heroes. So it lets me kind of isolate more of the damage where I want my damage increases to go. And then let's see, there was another one. There's some other builds that you can go with Azmo that I've seen a lot of players do. It's not personally my style, but Master of Destruction is also another talent. So when you're using that E ability and it's basically Azmo's laser, at the end of it, that little explosion that does that boost of damage there, you can actually make it to where it does it explodes in a small area around the target, doing damage to everything around that target, plus an additional 3 annihilation per hero hit. So that can help you stack your annihilation faster. I tend to see that people that take this level 7 one take the level 1 talent Wrath, that I did not talk about, which every time you basic attack a hero under 75% health, you gain 1 annihilation. That's personally not my style of play with Azmo, as I like to keep my distance and use my orbs and keep my minions out there. Whereas if I'm using basic attacks, I'm pretty close to my target. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Azmo has a huge health pool, but because of his hitbox being so large, he's easily hit by things. And I don't like to be all up in it because I don't want to die. I want to stay out as long as I can so I can get as many stacks as I can. And then, so if you're going in that laser build at level 13, a lot of people will take Sedea's Kiss, which reduces the channel time. So your laser goes off, the boom at the end happens even sooner. And if it goes its full duration against an enemy hero, you actually gain for 8% of your maximum. You gain HP for 8% of your maximum HP, which for Azmo is a considerable chunk. And then at level 16, you would go Hell Rift, which allows you to when it goes for the full duration, where if you did your level 13 talent is even shorter, a demon warrior is summoned when it booms. Plus, all your demon warriors do an additional 100% damage for 5 seconds. So that can be also a pretty powerful increase. At level 20, the Trample is an interesting talent that was introduced when Azmodan got his rework here not that long ago. It allows him to charge a short distance, dealing damage and slowing enemies caught in the path for a short period of time, so for 1 second. I wanted this talent to be so cool. I was like, man, Azmo being able to move quickly and basically bulldoze somebody over sounds like the coolest thing in the world. But to me, it's just not. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. With the cooldown being 60 seconds. It's a long cooldown to be able to move a very short period of time or a very short space. I personally haven't found any time that I would get value out of it, but it honestly, it's the coolest one of the level 20s, but it's probably the least valuable in most cases. We could have taken Blackpool, which at least we would have gotten some value out of that, but and that just makes it so that we do a pool on the ground, which is actually what Asmo's trait used to be. He used to put a pool on the ground, and then all of your skills used in that trait were powered up, whereas now it's only for the orb. But anyways, I think that pretty much sums up Azmodan and kind of what he's capable of. Like I said, if you're playing a character and he's free, he's one of the free to play characters, and you don't have him, try him out. He is a fun character to play. Once you get down the timing of using your orbs to get stacks and you're utilizing your other skills kind of properly, he's just a blast. Hitting that orb and getting those kills from like, a screen and a half away is just it just feels so good. It's one of the most gratifying things in the game. But with all of that said, guys, you guys have yourselves a great rest of your day, and we will catch you guys all next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like it, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more gaming content. It really helps me out. It doesn't cost me anything. Thank you again. Have a great day.